What's up guys, welcome back to Mike It Yourself, and this week's video we're going to do a quick review of an issue that I brought up, and I told you what I was going to do to attempt to fix it, but to make a long story short, I spent money on something I didn't need to spend it on, didn't get the outcome I was looking for, so this is an opportunity for me to help you learn from my mistakes. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about. Alright guys, if you've been watching my videos, then you know that I was dealing with an issue on the rear of the 2017 Road Glide where I had some kind of, wobble to it, and was trying to figure out what it was. And in my process of troubleshooting, I was attempting to use these. These are polyurethane bushing stabilizers, and I wanted to provide you guys with some feedback as to how these things did and if I resolved my issue. It did not resolve my issue, but I will tell you, if you want to stiffen up your ride and feel every bit of vibration your bike puts out, install these bad boys onto your swing arm and you will achieve just that. So they are very difficult to put in, not because they're hard, just in itself. The swing arm rod has two bolts that go in from both sides and they work against you, right? So as you try to loosen one side, the other side, ends up getting tight. It just kind of, you go back and forth. So there are a couple of videos of people who show you how to do the removal of that. Check those out. I was successful in using a impact gun to loosen it. So that way I could spin it faster than the other side would go, because I was trying to use a breaker bar and a wrench on the other side with a pipe on it and try to hold it in place because I didn't have somebody there to help me. And it was just a nightmare. So anyhow, if you're wondering whether or not you want to get these bushing stabilizers, like I said, if you want to feel the vibration and you want a very stiff ride, then you absolutely do. If you don't want those things, you bought your touring bike because you wanted to tour and feel comfortable, these are not the way to go. So hopefully you're thinking to yourself, okay, Mike, great. Hey, thanks for the feedback on these friggin' bushing things, right? Like, I'm not gonna buy those. They're 65 bucks. I went with these because the actual stock swing arm bushings were $75, so I just went with the lower priced item, thinking that it would resolve my problems, and it didn't. I'm glad I didn't go that other direction either, because that also would not have fixed my problem. So what was my issue? I had a defective tire. I've bought Shinko tires for several years now. I haven't bought like thousands of tires, so I don't want anybody to get that, in their mind, but I've had no problems with them. And I know folks, they kind of dog them a little bit, saying they're a lower budget tire. They are not as expensive. I've had no problems with them. I've run Shinkos on all of my bikes and everything's been cool, except for this last tire. So what I found is, in different parts of this tire, so to give you perspective or some contrast, from this point all the way to this point, I have a high, then I got a little low, it moves back to another high, and then into a low. So basically this tire is not perfectly round, and that was causing my issue. I found that out actually by mistake. So I had thought I did a good visual to make sure that everything was good to go on this when I was checking for abnormalities. And in the process of trying to troubleshoot stuff, I essentially had butted up a piece of wood to my rear tire, and I was rotating it, and it rubbed the wood, and then it would stop rubbing the wood, and then it rubbed the wood, and it wasn't by much, somewhere between an 1/8 and a 1/16 of an inch. And I thought, well, that's wild. They can't be normal. So I reached out to Shinko. It's covered under warranty. Got the tire replaced. That resolved my issue. In this process, not only did I buy those bushing stabilizers, I even bought one of these cam deal, thinking I had, an alignment issue. That was wrong. So, just a little bit of a tip in troubleshooting. All right, guys. So, long story short, I just had a defective tire. It took me about a month to figure that out, and I did figure it out just by accident, so I got lucky. But some lessons learned here, or a definite lesson learned was how to kind of check for that stuff. So I thought I was doing a good job. I made a makeshift balancing deal. So I ran a rod through the rear wheel, took it off the bike, of course, put it on some jack stands and rotated it to see if I had, you know, an unbalanced tire, and that wasn't it. I was visually inspecting my tire and I totally missed that it had highs and lows because I was just using my eyes. I should have used something stationary to compare the distance to as I rotated it, and I didn't do that. So that's the miss, right? That would have been where I found this issue, and I would have been on the road a lot sooner rather than later. Shinko's customer service, as well as the group that I bought the tire through, did an amazing job, and they, you know, got me hooked up with a replacement tire, got that on the bike, and things are all good now. Just a little bit of feedback on those polyurethane bushing inserts. If your thing is a stiff ride, you want to feel the vibrations, that'll actually get you exactly what you're looking for. If you're in the touring line because you want comfort and just that ability to go long distances, you don't really care about a stiff ride, then you definitely don't want to buy those. I mean, they're a little bit pricey, so it's kind of a bummer that, you know, you spend that kind of money and find out that it doesn't work out right, unfortunately. But again, lessons learned. So I've got, you know, a lot of things that we're working on here. We got 2025 coming, so Happy New Year to you and your families. You know, I hope you all remain blessed, and I'm looking to 2025 for some great things, some expansion in the channel as we continue to grow, trying to look to make a few changes in my personal life that will allow for that growth to happen. And I really hope that, you know, with that, we'll be able to bring some really cool stuff to the channel that will take things to the next level, and we go beyond kind of the small things that we've been able to do in kind of our limited situation here at Mike Yourself. So looking forward to a lot of great things. I hope to see you all in 2025, and until my next video post, I hope to see you in the win.